Tractor.
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 Toasty. Favorite thing? Circus.
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 Nice.
I'm just a little guy. Oh, no. I need to get... There we go. I just go to skin 24 immediately.
I mean, I don't blame you. I just can't be bothered.
You can hit the back arrow.
I could hit the back arrow, but also... nuh-uh.
Shit, I never thought of that one.
Exactly. What should we name the chickens?
Hold on. Can we wait until I'm actually able to properly hear you?
Oh, did you not fix your audio?
I can't fix it until I get further into it, until I get past character creation.
Oh, yeah, we can.
Because they don't have a settings option in the main menu.
Yup, I know. Because they've got no way to change the audio output. It is.
Hi, Nox. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Let me know if anything is too loud or too quiet. I have no clue what the levels sound like right now. Gonna be emo boy.
I'm already emo though. Stealing my thunder.
Fine, I'll be goth boy.
Yay! I actually don't know. I might be more. I don't know if I'm. I don't think I'm goth. I think I am emo because I've got the sunglasses.
I have like a major beard. You know what I miss? I miss my elf ear mod.
That's so fair though.
That was like one of my favorite mods ever.
I love that mod. But the automate mod. Also, is my mic going in and out?
Not really, no.
Okay, cool. The automate mod is like my favorite mod of all time because it's so easy. It's so nice. It makes it so you can just have everything set up.
Nox just got the true emo boy haircut yesterday.
Nice. As they should. I have this
Okay.
I have this stream pulled up on
How are
with my mic settings. There we go. I
you?
have the stream pulled up on my laptop on the other thingy, so I can see chat kinda.
Yay! I just don't have my
Yes.
Stardew Valley full screened. Fuck, How do I... Wait, oh, is it just click? It's just click.
It's just click.
I forgot. Ew, emo! Emo!
I'm emo. Yee.
Ew! Wow, things have
There's
changed.
chickens. Yeah, this is okay, I'm trying to mess with my mic just get it to the best setting. Cuz I don't know how I sound,
Nox
but
has cut my life in two pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation.
I love
No
that.
breathing.
Chickens.
Chickens!
It's not that different. It's just they've added stuff and so some things are different, but
Hello, baby!
the other one left.
Where's...
It's out here somewhere.
Hello, baby! Oh, they're both right here.
Hay. Oh.
One is named Honey and the other is named Biscuit.
I love that. They're so cute. They're amazing. I love them.
Chicken
I'm
nugget.
putting hay down. They're chicken nugget sized.
They are nugget size.
Me when my
And this
chickens are
feels
small enough and
familiar.
they crawl in my mouth.
This feels familiar.
Gee, I wonder why. I have
All
a
right.
roll of Smarties.
I feel like tomorrow before we let them out, we should clean up their area a little bit.
I agree. However, most of this is grass, so I think first we should get a silo.
Fair enough.
Why'd you do that?
I didn't mean to. I tried to close it. I
You
clicked left.
failed.
I clicked left click instead of right click.
How could you? They're gonna escape now.
They're not going to go that far, surely.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I'll stand
Is it in your
here.
inventory?
No, it didn't drop anything.
Okay, I think it's just like 2 wood.
I'll stand here and I'll stand guard. I don't know if they can walk through us.
I have no clue. Okay, move because I need to place this. There we go.
Yay. Okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna fix that really quick in my controls.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Um,
I love it when my chickens are chicken nugget sized and they can crawl in my mouth.
okay, apparently
Oh,
I
that's
can't do that?
sad.
So I'm just gonna have to completely readjust from my Minecraft because I have my Minecraft switched.
Yep.
Your mic is cutting out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me know if
Now I
this is
can hear
better.
you. That's better.
Okay. It's got 3 different settings and I've been like watching the thingy to see if it looks like it's cutting out. And so I'm trying to get the best one because this mic is not it.
Is it was a Blue Yeti, right? But it's one of the older ones.
Yeah, but it's like 7 years old,
Yeah.
if not older.
Oh,
We should go to the bar.
thank you, Lunar Dome. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. I'm glad that my alerts are working because I feel like they don't work half the time.
That's fair. I don't know.
Thank you,
I don't pay
Varian, for
attention.
following. Oh my goodness.
All the
So many
follows.
people.
You know what
Hello,
I should do?
everyone.
I should do a thing. Where's the thing?
You should do what?
I want to do a thing if I can get the thing to work.
What thing are you gonna do?
Um, a thing?
A thing?
A thing?
A thing. That's not scary at
Yeah.
all.
Not at all. No. I'd never be scary. Oh, I can't throw emotes everywhere. That's so depressing.
Oh yeah, no, my emotes don't work because it's not on VTube Studio. You can't throw them at
So
me. I'm
sad.
sorry.
I wanted to. How dare you?
I'm sorry. Um,
It's
for everyone
okay.
who is new, hello. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the 100. Uh, okay. Thank you. Um. Anyways, for everyone who is new, hi, I'm Ghosty. This isn't a new model. This is just a PNG that I use for when I don't want to put too much strain on my laptop. And so today, since I am playing with a friend, I didn't want to risk it at all. And so I'm using PNG tubers for today. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a bird.
There's a bunny. Oh,
The
you missed it.
birds
There
do
was a
the
bunny on my screen. There was a bunny and it
birds
was
scare the
very
shit out of
cute.
me. Are we going to bed?
I wasn't going to. I was at the tavern to say hi to people.
Oh, I'm being antisocial.
How could you? Stop being an introvert.
Oh,
I want to talk
feeling
to my
really.
emo girl.
Back off of Isabel. Back the fuck off. Hi. Yeah, hi. Hello. I'm doing well. How about you? Um, since I feel like there are a lot of new people or a lot of people who don't normally watch. Hi, I'm Ghosty. I am a variety streamer. Um, back the fuck off of Isabel. That's my girly
She's not
pop.
even, she's not even in there. Is her name Isabel? It's
Yeah,
Abigail.
Abigail. Am I? I'm stupid.
It's okay, I know.
Where is she?
She's probably in her house.
Oh, we're gonna
She's
be out
usually in
too late,
bed
and then
by
we're gonna get
now.
in trouble.
We are.
We should probably go back.
It only takes like 30 minutes. I
We've got a
alternate
Leia
between
lover.
Sebastian
Leah.
and
Leah?
Abigail.
Is it Leah or Leia?
I pronounce it Leah.
We've got a Leah lover in chat. Um, I love Abigail. I don't know where. I am so tired. Why do you get the big ass house? That's crazy.
Because I made the
Ooh,
world.
ribs.
I had a bagel and lox for dinner. It was tasty.
Of course you did. And that
Well,
does
you
sound tasty
see,
though.
bagel.
Yeah. Um, but anyways,
I
I
think
keep getting
everyone just
distracted.
got hit with a communal ad break. Or at
Oh.
least I got hit with a an ad break on two screens because I have it up on my laptop and my phone. I don't know why. Because my laptop I have set to a thingy, and then my phone is just normal.
I wanna. What?
To the
Jesus Christ!
beach.
I look so vampiric.
You do. Let's go to the beach.
Let's go to the beach. Each. Let's go get away.
Careful, that's copywritten.
Yeah, I know everything is.
It's so dumb.
I don't think Stream will get too mad at me.
Probably not. I think the issue is if you have a video on demand, that's where copyright gets hit.
Nox, I think that if your boyfriend can't accept you eating ribs, then I think that's a fake boyfriend, and that's grounds of leaving.
Everyone should be able to eat ribs with you. If you don't feel comfortable eating ribs with someone, they aren't worth it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
if you
they're
can't
super
eat messy
messy.
food with someone, there's no point.
Yeah. Ahoy there, son. Hi, Willie. I love you, Willie. There's a
Willie's
joke there.
amazing. There is a joke there.
That seagull in the water is staring me down.
We can fish, my main source of income. Let's go.
Why does he have like the bright fuck? I don't have my mods, which means that I have to actually fish, and I'm really ass at this fishing game.
It's okay, I'm really good at the fishing game.
Yeah, but we're not sharing money.
No, we're not. If you want to be in charge of the farming, you can get all the money from farming.
I shall consider it, or I may end up in the mines.
That's also
Children,
fair. I'm also awful at mines, so.
the children yearn for the mines.
But sadly, child labor laws don't let them.
We should play Cult of the Lamb together.
We should.
Do we
I
have
own it.
multiple copies of it?
We have at least two.
Oh, okay.
Because I own it and then Lix owns it.
Okay. Yeah, so then we can play that together at some point in the future.
Yes.
As a child, I yearned for the mines. I'm gonna try fishing once, and we're gonna see how badly I crash out over it.
Okay, I'm going to go feed the chickens.
See if I can do this.
You got this.
I forgot
The
how to jump too
babies,
deep in a
they're
fish.
free. Oh shoot,
Free!
I have to take care of my real life chickens once it gets dark.
Oh, I'm so bad at this. I hate this. I hate this minigame. I hate it. I hate it. I hate
The
it.
minigame isn't that bad.
I'm so bad at it.
But it's just clicky click.
I like when the fish just sits at the bottom.
Me too.
Like, go girl.
You are
Oh,
really bad at the minigame.
another one of my hey, another one of my friends is about to stream. You
Gee, I
know,
wonder how you could ever know that.
I miss my mod that replaced Sebastian with Astarion.
That's so valid though.
I need my
Hi,
mans.
Abigail.
Where?
The shop.
I'm running.
We're gonna have to fight for her love. I challenge you to a duel.
We've seen
Sadly,
historically how well
polyamory is
those
not an
go.
option.
Polyamory is
Yeah.
always an option.
It is, but not in this game because it's not in it. They
Um,
get mad if you
it-
date multiple people.
Hi, Abigail. I updated it, did it not? I forgot to hit done. Thank you, May. Thank you, May.
Yes,
Oh my
all of
goodness.
Stardew is anti-poly. If you try to date more than one person, when you go to marry them, they all get angry and there's a whole thing.
That's why you modded in the game.
Yeah. Which plants do we want?
I'm May. And I'm fiending for Abigail's love right now. The issue is Cyrus
Stealing
here
my
also
girlfriend.
is gonna smooch Sam.
Pull up the
Understandable.
wiki, see what gift she likes more, and then
Listen,
romance her.
I'm better in the mines, which means that I can give her amethyst.
True, but I'm really good at getting amethyst.
Emo boy. Emo boy. Or no, it wasn't Sebastian, was it? Sebastian is the one who lives on the beach, correct?
No, that's long-haired dude.
Yeah, I thought that was no Sebastian.
Sebastian's emo
I know
boy.
Sebastian. I'm mixing up everyone's names. So for context for everyone watching, I don't know the last time I've played Stardew.
That's really
Um,
depressing.
because I've
I
never
have
been a huge fan.
524 hours in Stardew. It's
Oh,
really depressing.
oh.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the text that we just got?
No.
That we can't say aloud because it'll dox us.
In which place?
In text. I'll send you a screenshot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. We're not there.
Yeah, no, thank goodness we're not there. Your mom has over 1,000 hours in Stardew. You know what? I respect it. I respect it. Recently, my mom, by my sisters, was forced into playing Roblox.
Oh,
And she's found a panning for gold game, and she really likes it.
that's concerning.
She also plays a lot of um, that one. Wait, holy shit! I'm over 50 followers now. Thank you so much. You just completely cut out there.
Oh, that's because I said yippee, but in a really high-pitched voice, so my mic wouldn't pick it up.
Yeah, I just heard.
My mic doesn't like high-pitched voices.
Wow, it's just a hater.
It is.
Your aunt's a gamer? Hell yeah. I have a
My
cousin
dad
who's
is
a
a
gamer.
gamer. My dad has thousands of hours in Destiny and Warframe.
Of course he does.
Like I'm talking tens of thousands of hours.
Oh, I was literally just coming to come and plant stuff, but then I remembered I don't actually have any seeds.
Would you like to water these?
Yes, I shall do that.
Then I'll
I hit
clear
the
the
right
land.
button.
Good job, you didn't destroy the plant.
I wouldn't say that their dad is chill.
He's not. Not at all.
Just, I'm not so sure about that one.
No. He likes video games though. I got a geode, let's go. I know where I'm
Ooh,
going tomorrow.
I'm gonna. I stole your stone.
I may not yearn for the mines, but the mines yearn for me. I don't know
Geode
how
in
I
my
seduced the
inventory.
mines, but I did.
Hi. Yes, I got a geode. You don't know your dad? Um, I, sorry. I did not mean to laugh at that. That was like a shock to laugh. Um, I'm sorry.
Tractor.
I'm not sure how to respond to that. If I'm being
It's
honest,
okay, my dad doesn't know his dad either.
that explains a lot. I mean, what? I keep seeing you. You keep
So
jump
valid.
scaring me because you don't move like any of the other villagers.
I'm just terrifying, what can I say?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna be the new doll girl. Whatever. What's the scare actor? Scare actor. That's the word. I'm the new
Oh,
scare
good
actor
job.
now. Mhm.
Um, I don't know. Last I checked, you weren't the one who literally got paid to scare people, so
That's why I said I'm the new one.
I miss scare acting so much. The new Ghosty lore drop, I actually used to be a scare actor.
At a very haunted location.
Yeah, it was very haunted actually.
Mhm.
I wish I was kidding. Yeah, I used to be a scare actor. And I got and like it was professional too. I was paid to do so. Um, it was one of
Did
the
very
best.
fancy makeup.
My makeup was very fancy. I love the makeup artists. The makeup artists there, they have my heart and soul. I have mixed seeds.
Let's plant all of them.
Um, but everyone there is wonderful. Or where I was is wonderful. I can't speak for all scare acting places. I can't speak for all haunted homes. Um, yeah, no, one time I was at work and I there was this little kid who was like really young, like probably maybe 5 or 6. Um, and she was in Nezuko cosplay, or she was dressed up as Nezuko, from Demon Slayer. And I saw the tree falling and it scared me.
What can I say? I'm just terrifying.
Yeah. Um, but I saw her and I was like, she looks terrified. I've watered everything. Or did you get more?
Got more.
Okay. I was like,
Actually,
I
just
did
got
a
more
good
more.
job. I've been doing my job.
Mhm.
Don't say it like you don't believe me.
Mhm.
You can see it in the garden.
I Yep. Mhm. Totally. Yeah.
I didn't know that you added more.
No, it's okay. I'm messing with you.
I know.
Okay. You need a
I'm messing
chest.
with you.
Damn. Okay.
But yeah, no, so she was walking by and I was like, she probably should not be like here because she looks way too young and she looks like she's terrified. And so I was like in my whole clown voice and everything and I was like, I don't want to do my clown voice because it's really loud. But it basically was like, "What's up, little girl? What, you scared of a clown, huh? You're a little demon and you're scared of a clown." And she found that very funny.
You see, their name is Ghosty because they've worked with ghosts.
My name is Ghosty because I'm dead.
Yeah,
We
that
don't
too.
have to water anything today.
Yay, it's raining. That means tomorrow the mines will be open.
Yippee!
No,
You
something
say
else will be open. There's something.
you look. You only want to be a scare actor to traumatize. You didn't close in the chickens last night.
No, sorry.
You're good. They have an egg. There's two eggs.
Eggs? They're old enough?
Apparently.
We're gonna be eating good tonight.
Can you grab that one? My inventory is full. Thank
Yes.
you. Oh, that's the heater. Should we put wood in the heater?
We have a heater. It came with the heater. That's not the heater.
What is it?
No, that's once we get a silo, the grass will go there.
Oh, I forgot that I have my automated messages, and I was like, who is, what was that message with all of those badges?
Yeah, I was confused for a second.
Me when I forget
New
like
feeding
basic things that
animals.
I did.
Yep. Oh yeah, we need a scarecrow where the birds are gonna start.
I'll be a scarecrow. But yeah, no. Honestly, it's fun scaring kids when they want to be scared, but when they don't want to be scared, it makes you feel really bad.
Which is valid. My favorite thing is to mess with the scare actors. I've been asked for my social security number by scare actors on many occasions. It was very goofy.
Ooh, you should, if assuming that it is inappropriate. I know that the torches are for the mines. I don't care.
Okay,
I'll grab them later. I just wanted to get rid of my sap.
that is so fair, and I don't blame you. I don't think I've ever actually used torches in the mines.
I don't know if I have. Um, Scaring people is fun, but I think that it is also nice to. Are we able to incubate the eggs?
Um, yes, but we need to buy certain. We need to upgrade the barn, or the chicken coop, I guess,
Mm,
and then we can.
my limited knowledge of what I have learned from you about chickens is coming through.
You mean the fact that I incubated too many eggs and have too many chickens?
You have the perfect amount of chickens. It's just the
I
fact that
have
you
too
weren't
many
allowed
chickens
to
for the
make
space that I have.
it just you were gonna have more space if it wasn't
I
for a
was gonna
certain
have more
someone.
space. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
no,
why would we ever name it Gayville? No, we'd never do that.
our town. What's Gayville? I could never.
No clue. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ooh, we can
Also,
get
we
we
donate
can
to
get
the
a.
museum.
I'm getting a dark cat tree in the future.
A what?
In the future, I'm getting a dark cat tree.
Okay. I am donating things to the museum.
I can buy another chicken if I wanted.
Never enough chickens.
But it's 800 gold, and I have like 800 something gold.
You have more gold than me.
I found a
Oh, I should
daffodil.
fish. Yippee!
When does the town hall open?
You mean the community center?
Yes. You know what I mean.
I I think it should be tomorrow. We can walk. If we walk by past like 9 or something, we get the cutscene that starts that process. If I remember correctly.
Okay. Man love.
No.
Wait, Clash of I have never played Clash of Clans. I cannot speak on that.
You've never played Clash of Clans? How could you?
It, it's just never appealed to me.
No, that's fair. I was being silly.
I know.
Okay. I got a catfish. Let's go.
Whoa, careful. There are a lot of those on Discord, you know.
Yup. There's a lot of those in the sea too, or the river, I guess. I finished all of my
there's
Smarties, so
there's
now I want
I came
more.
across this VTuber on on TikTok. I came across this VTuber on TikTok. Oh, I got coal.
Oh my gosh, a VTuber on TikTok? I could have never known there would be VTubers on TikTok.
No, but their avatar, they're literally a catfish because
Oh, I've seen that guy.
they're a cat mermaid, and they use a voice changer, but it's
Seen that
actually like
person.
a 50-year-old man,
I love that. I've
and he's a
seen that.
catfish,
Yup.
and that makes my brain so incredibly happy.
It's amazing. I
Man,
love it when people are just silly goofy.
yeah, no, I love when people have free will and they recognize that fact and then they act upon that.
I love free will because then I can go and make cake pops at midnight.
Low key a burnt peanut. That interesting.
I
You know
mean,
what? Good
burnt
for them. Good for
peanuts
them.
are, it's a, yeah, they're, that's a vibe.
It's locked.
Yeah, because we haven't
Why do
unlocked it
I
yet.
look so vampire?
Because you're pale. It's realistic.
Yeah, I mean fair and true, but what the fuck was that noise?
What noise?
I heard like a weird like whoa noise.
I don't know. Like from the game?
I don't know. Hello, let me in the mines. I would like in the mines, please.
I think the
I have
mines should open after the flooding or soon after the flooding. Or for the rain. If I remember correctly. I'm not entirely sure. I never remember the first week timeline.
I don't know. I'm just kind of awkwardly. I just came over to check it out to like check.
When the mines open, we'll get a letter saying that the construction's done.
Yeah. Does this random statue up here actually do anything?
What
It looks
random
like
statue?
like an owl.
Um, Let me find you and I'll see. I don't know if it's one of the statues that has a hidden thing later in the
Because
game.
it has like a pink thing on its base. And it looks like an owl bear type thing. Like a combination of an owl and a bear, but not in the D&D way.
Um, I'm coming up to see.
Okay, so I'm really glad that I have closed captions on Twitch because they don't work at all.
What?
I turned on like it's in beta, but like the option to have closed captions,
Mm-hmm.
but they're just wrong.
Oh yeah,
It's
these
like,
things. These things are for teleportation. So later in the game, you get teleportation totems, and you can craft them and use them to teleport around the map. Or like, it's a
oh,
good way to get to and from the desert because you always have to pay to get to and from the desert, and also eliminates the bus ride. So if you don't want to spend all the time walking around the place, you teleport.
ooh, okay.
You'll see a bunch of those with like different things dotted around.
Oh, I've never gotten far enough in the game to be able to use them before.
I never use them because once you get that late in the game, you've got horses. I pretty much only use them to get to and from the desert. Heh, today must be a bad luck day. My inventory is full too. I don't think it despawns.
I just need that backpack. Your friend won't join you in Battlefield? Fake friend.
How
That's
dare
what I
they?
say. Alright, I don't think there's anything much else worth doing.
Let's go be social. We gotta get the quest done.
I need to. Oh man, I need to. Oh, I forgot that I'm supposed to talk to people. I have yet to talk to anyone.
Well, fair, but also, nuh-uh.
I have no clue what it means to be an Archie poo, but good for him? Question mark. Listen, despite what this energy bar may say, my energy is actually very low. Hi, Willie. We don't like Clint, right?
Love
Hi,
Willie.
Harvey.
No, we don't like Clint. Clint is a not nice person.
Okay. You know what? You know what? If you wanna go after Abigail, I guess I'll back off a little because Harvey.
Harvey isn't dateable.
Harvey isn't dateable.
Nope.
I don't like Shane. Ugh. Gosh darn
Shane
it.
has a character arc.
Isn't the character arc him starting off being like with JoJo's or whatever? Hi, Leah.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I've never played through it. Hear me out. You could get Emily.
Uh,
Emily is a lovely catch.
she's sweet, but she's not my type.
She gives
Although,
you access to a sewing machine. Me one
Nox,
Journey of the Prairie King.
Nox, what am I hearing you out about? Oh, I'm really bad at this game.
Me too. I think everyone is. I think shit. I think it is quite literally part of the game to be bad at it.
Why did I start playing this?
I don't know why I started playing it either.
Let me
Why?
out. Oh, I
I'm.
can't. I can just hit escape.
You can't just hit escape and leave.
I'm free. Oh shit, we need to get home.
Yup.
I'm not paying
Sebastian's
200
amazing. I love
bucks.
Sebastian. Noise.
I'm not paying 200 bucks to go back to my house.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I've dated Sebastian too many times.
I go Eepy. We go Eepy.
We do.
I love Eepy.
I get money this time.
Wait. Axe proficiency. Wild seeds. Oh, none of these are what I want.
That's sad.
Bam.
Chickens. I think I forgot to lock
One
them in
PP
again.
rooster.
Ew, Clint.
Pierre's General
Clint.
Store. Ooh, backpack.
Clint, I don't like you.
Did Clint send you a message? We forgot
Clint
to
is
close them in
actively
again.
talking to me. Yeah, I said that. I said I think I forgot to close them in. It's
More
okay, I
egg.
do that with my real life chickens too.
That,
More egg.
yeah.
We love egg. We can
I,
make
however,
mayonnaise with egg.
still have no more space in my inventory. I need to
Have
make
you
a
considered
chest.
making a chest?
No.
Jinx.
We are not bad chicken parents. We're realistic chicken parents.
Hey, I am a real life chicken parent and my chickens love me.
Sorry,
My
I went
chickens are
quiet
so
as if to
happy.
imply that you don't, that they don't. They do.
They do. They used to. scream. They screamed until I picked them up and held them.
It was actually quite sweet.
It was really annoying.
It was very annoying when we were trying to play Repo.
It's annoying when we were trying to play Repo. It was annoying when it was 3 in the morning and I just got back from work and I was trying to go to bed.
Well, yeah, why weren't you holding them?
I was trying to go to bed.
Well, that was your first mistake.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Emo boy in the leaves.
The leaves, they hide me. It's so I can scare you better.
I like single-handedly started a shit between two streamers you like.
Did they consent
oh,
to it?
you know what? Good job. Acorns.
Save the acorns. Do not burn the acorns.
Why?
Because they're used to plant more trees and you don't want to be having to scrounge for trees in the forest because you threw away all your acorns. Now you need wood. I know someone
I was
who
literally
burned all
just
their
wondering
acorns.
about how that works. Okay, you missed some wild seeds.
My inventory was full. I need the upgraded backpack.
Yeah, how much is the upgraded backpack?
Not much. I was gonna go fishing.
There are pine cones. I want wings. Wings sound so good.
I want food. Bagel was not enough.
I also want food. I've had chicken
Did you
nuggets. They
eat?
were dino chicken nuggets.
Ooh, as you should. 2 or 3 hours is too long to wait for food.
What are pine cones for?
They're like acorns, but for pine trees.
Oh, I see. I thought that I got the acorns from a pine tree, so I was very confused.
Oh, no, it's acorns for oak trees, pine cones for pine trees, and maple seeds for maple trees.
I have maple seeds and pine acorns. I left the pine cones where they were.
That's fair. We want to keep them because they are important. And
Yeah.
really annoying if you have none of.
I too am hungry
Plus, they make
24/7.
food. Me too.
Oh my goodness, it's 2,000 gold.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, if you can fish.
Well, sounds like a personal problem.
Whoa, you're eating hours? That's not good. That's time. That can't be very filling. Hello? Are you unlocked?
The
No,
only
you
thing
are
I
so
miss about dining hall is food without cooking.
Yes, however, you see, you might have made a
Yeah.
mistake then. Elliot, that's his name.
Yes.
I miss my Astarion mod that replaced Elliot. I do not care for Elliot. I want my Astarion back.
But Elliot.
But Astarion.
But Elliot. You could just have Astarion be a completely different person. You could have a new person.
Hello.
Well, yes, but ordering food is money. I don't like ordering food because I don't have money.
If you want to pay for me to order food, I'd be down.
Me too.
I'm fucking starving. I don't have money to
too.
order food.
No, so you see, my dad and my brother left to get Chinese food and bring it to my mom who's at work. And so all 3 of them got food, but they didn't ask me if I wanted anything. So all 3 of my family got foods, but then they got me absolutely nothing. And then they ate that for lunch and then weren't hungry for dinner.
So now you have to cook for
Because
yourself.
that's why I had bagel.
Bagel. It's a good thing. It's a good thing we'll be living together.
Yeah. Gonna have all the foods.
Okay, I'm gonna be forced to go get you your foods because you didn't get the unlimited plan.
It's not my fault I'm broke. Blame the government.
I do blame the government.
It's always their fault. Also, a job that pays enough to eat out 5 days a week is impressive. Good job.
You know what? Hell yeah. Hello.
Hello. Are you stalking me?
No, I just wandered upon you.
Uh-huh, sure.
Hmm.
It's the fish. Okay, there we go.
As you should. What can you donate
No.
to?
Anything that says Gunther will, um, analyze this in the museum.
Uh,
New job is amazing. I need a new job.
I can't wait to go back to school and get my job, and then I need to reapply for a job because they didn't get back to me. So I'm just gonna apply again.
That's so fair.
Because that's how this current job market works. Didn't
Yup,
get the job? Apply again.
pretty much.
Hello, 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 hello. Hi, Abigail.
I can't afford college, and they have parents.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not sure the exchange that I made was quite worth it, but I'm glad to be able to go to
Yeah.
college.
I'm very glad that I can somewhat afford ish. I'm gonna be in less debt than most of my peers.
Yeah. Ugh.
You know, community
Same.
college is a cheaper option, and it's fun. I've been helping my coworkers figure out how to go back to college or like go to college for the first time. And keep in mind, they're like 30, 40, 50s, and they're being like, I want to go to community college. And I'm being like, heck yeah, as you should. Let me help you. And one of them wants to go into psych specifically, so I'm giving all the psych advice.
Community college is fun, and I don't get why people dog on it.
It is. It's amazing. I got my associates from there. It's an amazing option. It's cheap. Well, not cheap. It's more affordable than a four-year university, and it's generally got flexible class schedules and everything, which makes it more available for people later in life who already like need to pay rent to get a actual college degree. So it makes better careers more accessible.
That's why that's why I don't move until after I'm accepted for anything. I gosh darn it, I'm low on energy.
You you only move across the country after you've been accepted for your school. And yeah, it does get shit on because it's not quite as good or impressive. It's just as good, but
Mhm.
it's an amazing option, and I wish people didn't shit on it because I like it. Oh, that's valid. I wasn't meaning to dog on you. I was dogging on other person who moved across the country for school.
In chat or someone else?
You.
I got accepted into the school.
I know. That's why I'm saying you. But you moved across the country,
Yeah, because I hate where I am in the country.
which is so valid. And I don't blame you.
Hello, EB chickens. I take
I
your
love it when they're
eggs.
EB.
Hello, you're so EB. Oh, I forgot to pet you. Oh, but I can't pet you now. I'm sorry. I closed the door though.
Good job.
I,
We finally remembered.
I'd be a good chicken father. I mean, does it even really make a difference?
No, it doesn't. In real life, you do it in the winter to keep them warm, and in the summer when they're stubborn babies and want to sleep outside.
Your
AKA my children right now. The
children
children
want to
go
sleep
sleeping
outside.
on their water. They're roosting on their water.
Of course they
They're
are.
getting they're getting wet. They're roosting on their water and getting soaked to sleep. I've told them it's not healthy.
They're like,
They're
it's
gonna
cooler
fall
this
in.
way.
Pretty much. Except they still have a little chicken fluff, so they're just gonna drown.
My brain did not put two and two together, and I saw his next to your name, and I went, who?
Yes, because Stardew Valley doesn't have a they them option.
Yeah, I know, but I just had a moment of, huh? Who? Who the fuck is that? Ew. Ew.
No, we like
Fuck off,
Marnie.
bitch. I got Jojo.
Oh,
Wait,
ew. What are my
wait.
chickens
Was it
doing?
Joja or was it Joji? I don't remember.
I don't remember. We're getting
I
the
think that.
cat.
Where is the cat?
It's about to be here. What do you want to name it?
Oh,
I
Squash.
don't know.
it
Squash? Okay. I couldn't tell if
needs
your
a.
audio cut out.
It needs a stupid. It needs a stupid, like name, like Gerald or something.
I named it Squash.
Hell yeah, Squash is a great name for a cat.
Squash is now around.
Yay!
Valued members of Joja. Okay. Fuck
Okay,
Joja.
so
Am
it
I
is
allowed to
Jojo.
swear? I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Where's my cat? Oh, we need to let the chickens out.
I'm guessing when you say you moved from Washington to Cali, I'm guessing you meant. Do you mean the state or DC?
Washington, if they're West Coast native, means Washington State.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're a West Coast native.
The
Okay.
state.
Okay. Yeah, no, I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. Are they all fed?
I can check. And honestly, valid. Becoming a mechanic probably pays better than anything you'd be getting a college degree for, anyways.
Yeah, no, the honestly, being a mechanic is a good job too, just in general.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, trades are just really good. I honestly am wishing
Ooh,
I went to
mechanical
trade
engineering.
school,
What are
but
you
also
doing
I
in
think
that
I'm too
chest?
disabled. I accidentally went to your chest instead of my chest.
Just excuse
Mechanical
me.
engineering and computer engineering is so fun, though. I love that.
I'm also biased because I'm doing comp sci, which is like the same realm as computer engineering.
You see,
Mm.
I'm psychological anthropology, and I'm gonna have to go to Chicago for grad school.
Where is Chicago?
Illinois? Question mark?
That sounds right. I don't know. The American schooling system has failed me.
It has failed me. Own PC repair shop sounds so fun. I love that.
That sounds like fun, yeah.
Now
I
let's
I
see if we
hope
get the community center. There's a squirrel. It went into a tree.
I don't know where a cat is.
Community center cutscene.
Yay! I'm skipping
Me too.
it. Yay! I don't care. Okay, I have things to donate.
We can't
Because you can.
donate yet because we have to go into the thing, click on it. Then we have to go see the wizard by following the yellow brick road, and then we have to. Then the wizard translates it for us, and we can donate things. But we have to donate it bit by bit. And I did remixed bundles, so it's not going to be the normal bundles. So it's going to be
Oh.
random.
Oh.
It's a process. So now in the morning, we're going to get a letter in the mail from the wizard being like, come here or else. And then we're going to go see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And then we're going to go and say hi to him. He'll translate it and do his magic spells, and then we can deal with that.
That was
And
a
we get
lot
to
of
deal with the rat
words.
problem. That was a lot of words because I threw in some funny words.
I don't know. All I know is that currently, I'm so tired that my brain isn't fully functioning. Hello. Hi,
I so
Linus.
tired. I'm sigh.
I was gonna say something, but that's TOS, so I
Wow.
need the
Okay.
mines.
As a child, I yearned for the
I'm
mines.
skipping. Hell yeah, I got a rusty sword.
That's really good. I love that for you. That's yes. That's a solid career. Plus, then, if you ever want to, you can go back to school. Because
Honestly, going
you're
back to
making the money to do it.
exactly. There's no harm in going back to school later on in life.
Yep,
I plan on doing it.
me too. I want to collect degrees like Pokemon cards.
If I had the money to do that, that would be wonderful.
I don't think I'll have the money to do it, but I hope so. Right now, I need to cough up $20,000 for school. Yay, as you should. That's so good. I love that.
Hell yeah, as you should.
It's, college is expensive, and it's so dumb how expensive it is. There's no reason for it to cost this much. I don't
It
know how
shouldn't
much
be.
UC Davis. I don't know how much UC Davis costs, but it's in California, so I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah.
As you should.
Hell yeah, and
My
fear kind of
mom is an
both.
aerospace engineer, and my dad is like IT
She
technology guy.
is?
Yeah, that's her job by degree.
And
She's
she
never used it.
and she works at Michael's?
Well, so have I ever told you about how my parents met?
No. Is this a
So,
stream comfortable and
yes.
safe? Okay.
Yes, it's not doxing. Um and so basically they both
Doxing.
worked for it was a tractor. So they
Tractor.
both worked for a company. And she was like she has an MBA, and so she was like business manager for a company centered around like engineering stuff and like product management, that sort of thing. And she was my dad's boss.
That's not
And so
allowed.
yeah. So that's how they met, and it's she did use her degree, and then she also did like engineering stuff for a while recently-ish. But since the job market's crazy right now, she can't
Yeah.
because they're not hiring. Yeah, both of my parents are technically like engineers by degree, just different types.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be in a plane my mom engineered.
part of me wishes that I stayed in state for college because I could have gotten like a really good scholarship at my state school, but it's also local and the goal of me going to college was partially to get away.
Aren't you also not paying for your school?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
with I've considered paying for it myself
that's fair.
if you get what I mean.
I do. Yeah.
Holy shit. Sorry, bugs scared the shit out of me.
What bug is cute?
Well, bug came out of nowhere and I don't have space in my
Fair.
inventory.
Yeah, but also University of Washington, I don't know where it is, but um I don't know. I thought you said University of Seattle for a second, and then I was confused. But Seattle's not. Oh, cool.
If oh
Seattle's
wow.
not University of Washington. Seattle scares me. When I used to visit Seattle when I lived there, it was like not as scary. Okay, it's in the middle of Seattle. So yeah. So it's Seattle's scary. And I guess if you're used to it, it's not as scary, but more recently it's become terrifying. As you should. Yes. Okay, I'm not going crazy. Cuz I've got family there, so I used to visit all the time, especially cuz I lived over there. And it was just like not good.
I need to get a better
I'm just not a
torch.
city person. There are cows 5 minutes from my house, and I
I'm a
have
small town person.
20 chickens.
I like small towns.
Me too. I like
Like
small towns where I don't have to have asthma attacks constantly from weed and smoking.
I don't
It's been
mind.
long enough since I've been to Seattle that I don't know where Aurora Avenue is, but it sounds familiar.
Speaking of cities, we need to find a better place like convention to go to.
Yes, I fully agree. Sadly, the one I really want to go to is always over Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah,
And then I think the other big ones in the area are over the summer. Because the Comic Con in the city that we live in during the school year is over the summer.
yeah. There should be. Hello.
Hello.
There should hopefully be the big one at our campus this year, unless it's canceled again.
Hopefully, but that's not till the spring. Also, living on that street as a child must have been interesting.
I mean, they tend to keep it to themselves when children are around, I have to imagine. They tend to be pretty good about that. Oh,
It depends on the culture. I don't know the culture of that specific area.
I'm gonna shut the chickens in.
Okay, yep, one of the worst places to grow up. Yep, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Eepy chickens.
The babies. I love the babies. Yeah, I can look at different cons in the area because we live in an area where we should be able to find a ton, and I know there is a ton. I think just the two main
Oh,
ones. Did so
that
other
has to have
than
been
the
traumatizing.
that would be traumatizing. Yeah, that's I've heard Seattle has had even worse of a drug problem in the last few years. I'm not sure like exactly how bad it is because I physically haven't been there, but that's what I heard from family who lives over there.
Yeah, that it's
Yep,
sad.
I hate it. I just saw a thing the other day about like exactly how the DARE program came to be because it was corruption and cops
Oh
like
yeah, no, Dare
basically
isn't great.
no, it isn't great, but the people who were making it knew that it wasn't great because the research already existed.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not the only one who saw that video.
Who
Yay, I
was it?
love that.
Who was it? Because I think I've also seen it before. Oh, hello.
I don't know, but it came out
Ugh!
recently. The wizard, he messaged.
Why is Clint here?
Hat Mouse. Hey, Ghosty. Hey,
Do you not see
where
me
are you?
talking to Clint? Clint needs to
No,
fucking.
I don't. Is he giving you the furnace?
Yeah. Or the
Okay, come
rest of the
here.
fruit, I
Come,
think.
come, come here.
Give me a second.
Come
Give
here.
me a second.
Come
Give
here.
me a second. Give me a
No,
second.
hurry up.
What? Kitty? Kitty! Hi,
Kitty.
Squash. Hi, Squash. Oh, Squash needs
Get
water.
used as an inside job for cops to get bonus funding and to catch kids' parents for owning drugs. Yep,
Yeah.
I hate that so much. Because it just created a worse problem. We love how corrupt our society is.
I like the little dance. Like, it looks like a little dance.
It does, it's so cute. We have to go see the
Oh,
wizard after this.
yes, we do. Wait, let me check my mail.
Okay.
Hello? There we go. Uh, it, okay, I have to slay 10 slimes. Let's go.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful
The
wizard of
wonderful wizard of.
Stardew.
The wonderful wizard of Gayville.
Yeah,
He's so camp.
he is. I love him.
It's
Did you
perfect for
know that
Gayville.
people had the option to be able to date the wizard, and they chose to be able to date Shane, I believe it was.
Ugh.
Yeah. They gave the wizard should be a twink. I think we might need to
Uh,
go the other way.
no, because he is a he's he he would fall more into like the Dilf or Gilf category, I think.
True. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We need our Dilf and Gilf representation up in here.
We do. Thing is, he looks young. He doesn't look that old.
I can't go inside.
Oh, because I have the cutscene. Whoopsies.
I don't even see the cutscene.
I think I got it instead of you on accident. I didn't realize they wouldn't both give it to both of us. Okay, and now we have to go do the spring foraging bundle, which is normal.
That you need the dandelion and the wild horseradish for that, right?
Yeah, dandelion, leek, daffodil, wild horseradish.
Well, I've got two of them.
Yippee! I keep forgetting my mic doesn't pick up my yippies. And then I yippee, and then it's a problem.
And then I yippee.
I picked it up from my boss, not my current boss. I picked it up from my last boss because he was autistic. And he did the yippee, and I
I
picked it
don't
up
get
from
any
him.
credit for the yippies. Wow.
No, it was entirely my last boss's fault.
I'm gonna go to. Hi, Shane. Or fuck, that's not Shane. That's Sebastian. Hi, Sebastian.
How dare you get them confused?
I am tired and stupid, and they both start with S.
I know my mic
I
probably
know
didn't.
they're not. I know. I know. Like I know that they're different. I know this. I'm
Uh-huh.
just stupid. There's just nothing going on in my brain. Listen, if I had my VTuber model, you could see that there is nothing going on up in here.
No thoughts, head empty, just fluff.
I think I accidentally dropped my. I think I accidentally dropped my geode somewhere.
Did you put it in your chest?
I don't think I did.
I don't know.
Chat, do you know where my... Because I had one. I feel like I'm going crazy now.
Maybe you are.
I mean, we already knew that.
True.
Hi, Pierre. I have to check inside.
Not you saying Pierre with like a little bit of a French accent.
What?
You said Pierre with like a little bit of a French accent.
It's not my fault.
Uh-huh.
Listen, I took a little bit of French.
Uh-huh.
The issue is it's had an impact.
Uh-huh. Sebastian is the biggest twink in all of Stardew Valley.
Yeah. He gives boy failure. Okay, so now I have to go to the wizard separately, I think.
Do you? Okay, go see the wizard.
Well, I don't know if I'll be able to immediately because I just went and saw the plate.
Wait. Oh, you just saw the plate? Okay, then yeah, you have to tomorrow. I'm putting...
Oh, hello! It's the femme. Hi, Haley. We've got our femme lesbian.
I love her, except Haley's kind of a bitch.
I'm watching people simp over Sebastian.
I love Sebastian. Sebastian's amazing.
Ugh.
I want chocolate and salt.
That sounds yummy.
What if I put salt on chocolate?
That's just you being blood bad.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom earlier and I was saying like I really want fast food and I don't know why, but I'm really like want like Chick-fil-A or Wendy's. And she was like, "Do you think you just need salt?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably."
Yeah, no, the way I consistently like will pause and just be like, I need salt. It's probably an issue.
Yeah, that's why I have a stash of Ritz crackers.
As you should.
They're
Let's see.
tasty.
Oh,
My mom got a giant box.
we already did the daffodils, so I'm just gonna sell mine.
That's fine. We just
Did
need
you
the other
already turn?
three.
Did you already turn in an earth crystal?
No, 'cause that part isn't ready. Oh yeah, to the guy, yes.
Okay.
I've never had a Triscuit.
Triscuits are yummy. Hello, emo boy.
Hello.
emo boy, gender neutral.
Pretty much. If you're going to
Have we
bring
freed the
things to
chickens?
Gunther, I have a topaz. I don't know.
They have not. Oh, do they need to be fed?
We need to build a
Hello.
silo.
They do not need to be fed. I've got more eggs though. Hello, chickens. Ooh, I got a silver star egg.
Ooh, fancy.
I'm gonna sell all the eggs because we don't have an incubator yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't save the eggs, sell the eggs. There's no point in keeping them.
Listen,
We do for
I
the
get hoarder
community center.
mindset.
No, me too. For the
I know you
community
do.
center, we need 500 sap. Hey, I am not bringing too many clothes this year. Hopefully.
Hello? What are you doing,
The
silly?
cat if the cat's already been pet, we can't pet it again. It's one pet per person per day.
I didn't think I pet the cat yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, clearly you did.
Apparently I did. I have to go pet Honey and Biscuit. Emo boys, yes!
I'm
I
cutting
put it
down
in
tree
chat.
because
I,
I'm gonna commit deforestation.
hell yeah, I love deforestation.
So I've got to get 500 sap.
listen, I'm I'm slightly biased more so towards goth femboys.
Okay,
Gee, I wonder why.
What?
I need you to come out here real quick.
I will be right
Okay,
back.
I guess it's me now, except y'all can't see my screen. So I'm just gonna yap. Wait, are there shenanigans that can be done? What shenanigans can I do? I feel like I should be shenaniganing. I don't think I have any shenanigans. Honestly, that's valid though. Yeah, I don't blame you. The cat, y'all, I think the cat's probably out of y'all's view. The cat's being a cat. No, me too though. Me too. It's okay. Don't know why I said that like it's a bad thing. It's not. I'm collecting all the sap. One might say I'm very sappy. Oh, this is a rare moment that I wish y'all were seeing my screen, because instead you just get to see them standing still.
Feed you now because you're annoying. But I can't interrupt. But
Hey, there's no such thing as failure in the emo world because emo is about self-expression and freedom and exploring the way you look, and so you can't fail. Like, emo and alternative movements started because people wanted to like make their own clothes and everything and like alter their clothes in a way that fit them. And so like the whole consumer culture of the alternative world nowadays ain't it. It's not how it's supposed to be. Thus, no failures. I don't know why I just tried to water the rock. Me too. I like switch. I'm just like chaos. I get whatever looks cute in black and purple. Oh my gosh, they're moving, but I can't hear them.
Hello. Oh no.
They back?
Hello.
You're
I'm back.
back. Hello.
I forgot that I muted.
Playing bass in a punk band is amazing, and I love that. I'm just
Ooh,
starting to play piano again.
I want to start playing piano again.
I
It'd be
will take
fun.
you to the fancy pianos. It is EP time. My ear is itchy because my piercings are mad at me.
Did you take out your septum?
Yeah,
I just
it
noticed that in
was
your
too
snaps.
angry. It's too angry. It doesn't
That's
like
fair.
me anymore.
That's fair. I would when we go back to school, we can go to the piercer and ask them about it.
I'm not worried about it because it was causing me sensory issues and making my nausea a lot worse. So I think till my stomach issues calm down, I'm not gonna worry about it. Oh, I'm annoyed. That's annoying. You know how the backpack needs 2,000?
Yeah.
I have 1,999.
I I can go see the wizard today. Hello, chickens. I vote that we just
Yay!
start leaving the chicken door open.
I agree. I don't know why we were closing it.
I'm not sure. Do you have hay?
In my chest.
Are you willing to feed the
My hay
chickens?
brings all the boys to the yard. They're like, no better than yours. My hay brings all Okay, I'll stop.
No, my brain just did not process what was going on. I
I was
oh the bridge piercing.
Yes, so the only reason I have as many piercings as I have, because I've got like seven-ish now, is because we've got a really cheap piercing place near campus, and so I go there and get it pierced. I do want a bridge piercing. I want a bridge piercing, like I want like a high nostril piercing with two of them with chains connecting. That's one of
Mm.
my dream piercings, but I know I could never do it because I want to go into a career that is stuffy.
I I'm getting angel fangs when I go back to school.
So fair. My parents will kill you.
They will.
I mean,
They'd kill me, or
hopefully
they would
not.
kill you.
They'll do what they do. It'll be okay.
I'm not sure if they like me anyway, so
They do.
mm,
Mother has
maybe I
accepted
shouldn't
you.
then.
It's up to. I'm not gonna stop you.
I don't know. There are a lot of piercings that I want, but then like the moment that I'm asked what piercings I want, I'm like,
Yes,
was
I
it
want to
fun?
get a third lobe piercing and then connect it to my second with a chain.
I want more lobe piercings.
I don't know if I could fit a third lobe piercing. I think it might end up being a low cartilage piercing. I don't know.
I want the one that's supposed to help with migraines. I don't care if it's pseudoscience.
It's okay. It's a placebo, but it works for a bit, so it's fine.
Exactly. Hello, Hat Shop is here. The
Hey,
not Hat Shop. The little
the
the
mouse.
shop. No, not
Oh,
Mouse.
the wandering trader. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Rare Seed.
Ooh, I should try that lobe piercing and high cartilage piercing connected with the chain. I could do that. I have the piercings for that. That's actually a really good idea. I've got on my right ear, I have one cartilage piercing, like higher up on my ear, and then two lobe piercings. On my left ear, I have an industrial, three upper helix. So like in between the industrial, I've got three upper helixes, and then I've got two lobe piercings. Then I had a septum, but that is sadly retired.
The
I'm
things
sure
I
the
do for
chickens
love.
tugging at it didn't help. What did you do?
Nothing.
Did you buy a wedding ring recipe?
Not a wedding ring recipe. No, I can't afford that.
Only 500.
No, it wasn't.
The wedding ring recipe? Did you buy a sunflower?
No.
What did you buy?
Well, let's just say it's something good.
Okay.
I could be really awful and do like the fucking Redditor voice, the Discord mod voice.
No. No. Hello,
Hello,
child. I need to talk to
princess.
you. I will. I know where you sleep.
Like in game or in real life? Because you know
Both.
both of them. In fact, we'll be sleeping
Both.
in the same room pretty damn soon.
Exactly. I know where you sleep and I have the key.
Well, yeah, I sure hope you have the key. If I have to let you in every time, we're gonna have an issue. You lose your key, we're gonna have an issue.
Hey, I didn't lose it once last year. I'm gonna keep the streak.
Yeah, no, I'm really proud of myself because I didn't either.
Yep, it's the ADHD win.
Oh, that's a quest for you.
I don't want it.
It's a fishing quest.
I don't want it. Also, okay, hear me out, but your family's opinions is dumb. You make your own money and thus can pay for your own piercings.
Exactly. Hi, Penny.
And that is so valid, and I don't blame you, because me too.
Real. There she
I'm
is.
trying to find the spring forages. Oh, okay, I get that, but that sucks. I hate that.
I got to give Abigail a chocolate cake.
Okay, that's what you bought.
Yeah.
How dare
She
you?
loves chocolate cake,
I know.
which is so real of her.
My family has a giant cake downstairs that I've been slowly eating.
I want food.
I also want food. I was debating making a microwave s'more, but then I'd have to go downstairs.
Maybe I'll make a s'more. You can make them in the oven too.
Yes, but then I have to turn on the oven.
You just put it on broiling and then you let it sit in there while it warms up until it's a golden brown.
That's really smart.
And
Can we
then
make
you take
s'mores in an air fryer?
s'mores in an air fryer doesn't sound as appealing, if I'm being honest.
It doesn't sound as appealing, you're right.
That feels like something
I don't
that
know,
doesn't. That sounds like something that would be served at like an American state fair.
Yeah, it does. We should go to the state fair.
I'd like that.
Yeah, it's not far from campus. Okay,
That
what do we
that's
need?
cool. We need radish
We need
or
a
a
leek.
leek. We need a leek.
There's a leek in my sink.
That sticky bundle.
Sticky bundle.
These seem normal.
That's because these aren't the weird ones yet. These stay the same. It's the next ones that are going to be weird.
Maybe I'll have leftover steak for dinner. We went to like this steakhouse that was like a saloon type place.
Oh, I love
And we got
that.
and like they cooked it on like a fire pit in front of us.
Ooh. I have
Not like
leftover.
hibachi, but like a real fire pit.
I love that. That sounds so tasty. I want it. Except
I'm
I
not a
don't
big
like
steak
steak.
person.
I want that
I
like
don't like a lot
chicken.
of red meat.
I don't either. I like lamb and that's about it. But I want like that, but chicken.
I've never had lamb.
Lamb is amazing and we should get it and cook it.
I'm down.
Is it expensive? Yes, it's worth it though. Especially ground lamb with like Greek style cooking or Asian style cooking is so good.
Yeah, because then we can make
Lamb
gyros.
kebabs, yes. Yes, we could make heroes. I had chicken heroes for dinner the other day. They were really good.
That sounds really yummy.
It was so good. I loved it. Oh, the mines are open.
They've been open.
I didn't realize that. Lamb Heroes, so good. Yes, I love Heroes. I love Lamb. I want to make. Ooh, we can make like pasta chili too. It's
I don't like
you
chili.
make like it's not like a chili. It's just that's the name for it. But then I've altered the recipe so much that it's not actual chili. But it's basically ground beef with tomato sauce and stuff. But so it's like chili style, but it's not like spicy chili. And then you put it over pasta with like I guess you would not have the cheese, but usually with cheese and like onions and stuff, and it's really good. And then it's like an easy to reheat thing because you can keep it separate.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just like
We
pasta.
need to
It's
look up
cheap and tasty.
that one guy on TikTok who did like the hood meals during COVID.
Yes. I also found a cookbook online that it's like cooking for college kids, and it's like a total of like 10 ingredients in the entire thing just made different ways.
Ooh,
And we don't even have to get all the ingredients, and it's like I think it was like $15 on Amazon.
did you buy it?
No, I had no money
Okay.
and no
Yeah, no,
Amazon Prime.
that's why I sounded concerned.
And I don't have Amazon Prime. Otherwise I would have,
Uh,
but I
if you want
saved
to
it
send me
so I
the
don't
money
lose
and the
it.
link, I can order it.
I might. I was
Speaking
avoiding
of,
spending until after beach trip.
Speaking of, if you have Amazon Prime, you do get a free Twitch Prime sub. So if you haven't already, do consider subscribing with Twitch Prime. It would
I
be
think
greatly
that's only if
appreciated.
you don't have Prime for students though. So if you're a college student and you're on the cheaper plan, you're out of luck.
You might still have it. I don't know.
No, 'cause I tried it and it didn't work.
Mm.
It was rude.
But if you're on Prime, you don't have to worry about ads, which is really nice.
As bad as Amazon is, you might as well use it to support small creators.
Hi. Hi,
Balloon
Luck.
Snipe,
How are you?
wow,
How's stream
hi.
going? How's Summerthon so far? I had to hop off to stream myself. What the heck?
Wow, okay.
Wow.
Have you considered not exploding your PS4?
Thank you for lurking. I hope you enjoy the show. Even if you are questionable sometimes.
Only sometimes.
I'm trying to be a little nice. Howdy. I already
Okay.
cleared out all of the
Hello.
bugs over here. Gosh darn it.
Why,
You're just
thank
taking
you.
advantage of me.
Hey, I got you a ladder. You can't say I didn't do anything for you. I got you a ladder and I killed the bug.
Okay. I've got new ideas to sleep on tonight.
Oh my gosh, new ideas? I don't think you were capable of those.
What the heck? Yes, twin did. Lo- oh, I'm eating.
Oh shoot, we
Oh,
gotta go to bed.
oh no.
Uh-huh.
Uh-uh.
I'll try to get down one more level so we hit level 10.
I'm gonna come down and help.
No, I'm gonna get murdered. Ah, I'm getting murdered and I can't move. I might die. I might. Okay, I'm
Hello?
not gonna die. Game, I know it's 1 a.m. Stop yelling at me. I've accepted I'm gonna faint in the mines. It's actually a speedrunning strat to just faint in the mines and take the money
Honestly, I'm kind
loss.
of tempted to just fade in the mines because
Okay,
I
I
don't
made it
really
to
want to
level
go back.
10. I made it to level 10. Am I gonna faint? Yes. Do I care? No, I made it to level 10.
I got a
I ain't making
diamond.
it back. Ooh, fancy.
Gotta take it to. Hello. Oh,
Who's
I'm dancing.
37? Willie?
Oh, your coworker?
Oh.
I got a cherry bomb. Cherry bomb.
Oh, okay. I got confuzzled
Hello.
for a second.
Hello, world. I'm your what? Excuse me, wild girl like a cherry bomb.
Me when K-pop Demon Hunters.
I'm so excited because my new PC might actually be getting here this time.
Yay! New PC?
Or not PC.
Laptop.
Hello, laptop. Yeah.
What happened to it before?
Pretty much, basically, it wouldn't ship over on it wouldn't ship properly.
Weird.
Because oh, sorry, the specs. I don't know the specs. I'll let you guys. I'll let everyone know the specs. Um, once I get it. Is there anything that the tulips are used for?
No, I just like them. They're pretty.
Okay, well I'm selling them
Aw, okay.
because I picked them.
Uh-huh. I
I'll
bought
leave
the
the ones.
seeds.
I'll leave the ones that I didn't pick. Do you plant the potatoes?
No, they don't get. Well, you can plant them, but they don't get replanted from potato.
Oh,
I think a lot of people have severe computer autism.
that seems like a pretty common autism to have.
It is the first time I have laptop that I use now, and I yoinked it from parental unit, and I brought it to my partners for the first time, and they also have computer autism. So when I went to their dorm, they immediately had me turn it on and went and looked into all the specs and like went into all the things and looked at it. And it's like got really good specs apparently. It's a laptop, so I still like push it a little too much, but I can't afford a PC and afford college. And all of my PC money that I had saved, because I saved like $1,000 for PC, went to buying a phone because my phone shit itself. So I have laptop.
That sounds
I
so cool.
envy that.
I'm envious of you.
I want computer. I want PC.
I wish I had computer autism.
Me too.
Like that would be a much more useful one for me to
But
have.
it's also an expensive one to have cuz at least like my partner needs all the best specs otherwise they go crazy.
Your partner yelled at me for having an old graphics card
Yeah.
on a free PC.
Yeah. They are very graphic heavy. They care a lot about graphics. I love that.
Ooh,
As you I mean, not you don't have to. Like not like you have to give anyone a cheaper PC. But that's amazing. Honestly valid. My partner just got a pre-built for like 2K, but it's really good.
I like pre-builts. My PC that I have back home is a pre-built. Um, however, um, However,
Why
it's
are
far,
you
and so
excited?
it was like I want to say 1600. Listen, having side hustles is fun. My side hustle is doing commissions.
My side hustle is existing.
You know what? Hell yeah, that's a good side hustle.
Yeah, and I love that because
Well, maybe
building
I'll commission
PCs
you for
sounds
a PC in
amazing.
the future. Maybe I'll
I
commission you
got
for a
it.
PC in the future.
Wait, as person, as person who builds PCs, have you heard of the game PC Builder Simulator? And if so, have you played it? And if so, how realistic is it?
Is PC Builder Sim a good way to learn?
Because that's I was using that to like understand PC parts more. It is, yay!
Is it a good way to
That
start learning how to build it? Okay, that's good. That's good.
it's in our
Because
Steam
I've been eyeing
library.
it. Hello?
It's in the Steam library. You can just kind of
Yeah,
play
I
it.
know.
I've
I
got it.
Oh, I accidentally clicked the sign instead of the door, and it was telling me the hours. And I was like, what the heck? I'm
Let me
guessing we're having it
find.
color sorted.
No, I just sort by artifact and gemstone.
Sorry, I sent the video to Mom. Okay, I'd appreciate if you didn't open up my phone next
And yeah, that makes sense for experience for the niche stuff. Yeah, because it confuzzled me a lot, even just like for the basics, because it was a lot of things, and so I got overwhelmed, and so I turned it off.
Well,
Yay, as you should.
yay! Yeah, I'm still working on a personal one, but I am in a Discord server that does share when I'm streaming and such, for a group that I'm in. So if you'd like to join that one, you're always free to. The link is in my link tree. Sorry, I'm checking what time a place I want to go closes. Oh, it's open till 9. Okay, I think I know what I'm
You've
doing
got
after
plenty of
streaming.
time. Where are you going?
Daiso, it's like the Japanese dollar store.
Oh, I love that.
And so I was just gonna check if there are any like small essentials. Plus, recently they've had Ida bags. Daiso, my beloved.
I've never been to one. Also,
I
don't
don't know
worry,
if
I
there
have
are any
all
over
the
there.
plushies. There probably aren't.
There are a bunch of plushies, but I can't take them back. So
You don't have the room in your luggage
I
to
already
take them
have I
back.
already have Kewpie dressing. I love Kewpie mayo. Kewpie mayo is a lot better. Plus, it's healthier for you, if I remember correctly. I
How
also
many
like the
plushies should I bring to the dorm?
yes.
Okay. I don't like mayo. It's not my favorite.
Have you had Kewpie mayo though?
Is that the one that we put on the takoyaki?
Yeah.
Then yes.
Did you like that one?
It was good on the takoyaki.
Yeah, I like that a lot more. I also put it in my ramen.
That's honestly fair. 3 blahas. I totally don't know what type of person you are.
Are
Dang.
you one of them? You one of them
I have
queers.
I have an IKEA elephant, and then I
You're
have
not
a
a
giant
blaha. Shh.
unicorn. You aren't.
You're
Surprising.
not. Wow.
Wow.
Oh wow. I wonder where the ladder is, guys.
Honestly, I don't blame you. That's fair.
I'm
They're
stuck.
cute.
I can't go anywhere on this level of the mine because the ladder is directly in front of the ladder.
I love it when that happens. Why does my arm have an itchy rash on it? It
That's
was
not good.
random, but it just... No, it's not, and it's right around my tattoo. I don't blame the gays are cool. I love the gays.
Oh, it's so dark.
I'm totally not
Yeah,
one
no,
of
if you
them.
don't like the mines, it's not from a tattoo.
It's not from the tattoo. Held for home.
Sorry, my auto mod. You have mod, right?
Yeah, I do. I see it. I see it. That's so funny. I know that's a joke. And the tattoo's old enough that it's not from the tattoo. It's just my arm is angry. I don't know. I've been getting mosquito bites everywhere, and I think I have an infected wound, and my immune system is going haywire. So we just see the auto mod. So
There you go.
I love
There
that.
you go.
There you go. It went through.
I had to, no, I had to approve it.
I know.
I love when Automod decides to act up because it's really random as to whether or not it decides to.
It wasn't even acting up. If someone like who actually meant it said that, yes, good job, go auto mod. But it's being used ironically.
Yeah, it doesn't understand irony.
It doesn't. It's so autistic.
I was gonna
It's like
say,
me for real.
I was gonna say, what the heck is that? I found a rubber boot. I threw it away.
It's because Automod just doesn't understand irony. It's so strange. It makes sense though, and that is why robots cannot take over the world.
Yeah, and also just because I just have it on. I could turn it off, but it's safer for me to have it on. I think that it's funny that it
Yeah.
allows the N word
Oh, love that.
because
It is funny
that
to allow Sandwich.
that I don't allow like turn that on. I don't like accept those ones. I just don't bother. I don't really care. I can't say it, so I'm not gonna.
Hmm. There are many
But
slurs
like,
I can say. That is not one of them.
yeah, no, I have a myriad to choose from. Why would I choose that one?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's
I'd
so
appreciate if
fair
you don't
though.
say the F slur in my chat though, just because I don't want to get my stuff taken down and I'm not comfortable with the R slur. Uh, um, so bad news.
You in the mines.
I yearn for the mines.
As a child, I yearned for the mines.
Um, also, also, how are my audio levels? Can you hear everyone well? Can everyone be heard well? Can I be heard well? Am I
Can I
too
be heard
loud?
well? I, I don't know. I'm assuming people can hear
Okay,
me.
audio is good. Yeah, I figured people could hear you considering the fact that they were responding to stuff that you said, but
Yeah. The suspect is in custody without incident.
I will turn up the game
School.
noise a little bit for you. Ta-da.
Oh my gosh, college elimination wheel for the day is out.
Are we safe?
I'm checking right now.
Have you watched like all of them?
Yes. I am weirdly into this.
I like hearing from it from the outside, but I don't care to watch it. College
I've watched a
elimination
little
real
select.
wheel.
Literally, if you go on Instagram and you look up US college elimination wheel, it's there. We're still in.
Okay, I have.
There's only 980 remaining.
No, it does not ban people from college. Why did it
No.
cocoon up on me? What the heck? Oh
So
no, no,
basically,
no, 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 no. I hate those
So
though.
basically, college elimination wheel is a wheel where it has all of the colleges in the US and then it spins and eliminates them one by one. It started with like 1,400 something ish, somewhere around there, and it's now at 980. And as it goes through, there's obviously less and less colleges as they get removed from the wheel, and it's like last college standing type deal, and the winning college gets a prize.
They
I think
do?
there's like a GoFundMe to donate to the college. I'm hoping they make like a scholarship to go to a single person who goes to the college.
Or
It's
they
funny.
split it up depending on how much it gets.
Yep. It's silly, goofy. It's fun. Yeah, pretty
I was
much.
outside of my house!
Yep, I hate it when that happens. Yeah, I don't know.
I
I've
was
just been really
outside the
like
door!
into it. I've been enjoying watching it go through, and it's funny. It's a little silly,
Scarecrow!
goofy thing. I can
Scarecrow!
finally get a backpack. Hey,
Ooh.
Scarecrow. I don't. My partner's college got out before me, so I'm happy.
Excuse me.
You're not excused.
No,
You better bring some wings back for us.
I want wings.
I want mozzarella sticks. I wish I had money to go get groceries. And my goal is to spend exactly $30 between now and beach trip because that's enough for one tank of gas.
Ooh. The wings
So
aren't done
sad.
yet. No.
All these small wings, just give me some. I'm hungry. I want foods. I need foods. Bagel was not enough. Oh, yeah, I get pretty decent gas. Oh, and you're in Cali, so the gas is expensive over
Gas
there.
has been awful. Oh, yeah, plus. Okay, but you drive a Corvette. That was kind of expected when you got a Corvette.
I want a Volvo. I can't afford it, but I want it. Oh, okay, that's gorgeous, though. I love 1990s
Oh, those are
cars.
pretty. I really.
Yes,
I
1990s
want a
are
Mazda.
gorgeous. I want a 1990s Volvo, and as the years go on, it becomes less and less likely I can get a 1990s Volvo. Yay, as you should. I don't know what an RX-7 is.
Pretty. I want a motorcycle, but the issue is I am
Are
4
you
foot
able
11.
to ride a motorcycle?
Huh?
Are you able to ride a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm off my feet when I ride a motorcycle, so I should be fine. One of my friends' stream either crashed or they're starting to stream again. That's not
so
good that you
sad.
crashed it.
I guess you can repair it. Look at you donating all the things to the museum.
Yep.
Okay, that's good.
Is it repairable? Easy fix? Ew.
My partner's mom has a bright blue sports car, and I don't know what type of sports car it is, but it can go zoom.
I got a thunder egg?
That sounds familiar. That's fair. Transmissions, from what I've heard, are wacky. I don't know, some of my coworkers are common car terms because of it.
Oh, transmission is a rough one.
I have car go zoom. If car can't go zoom, I take it in.
Oh,
10th gear to
that.
4th, I don't think you're supposed to downshift that much.
If you're
What car
slowing
has a
down a
10th
lot, you
gear? Cars have 10 gears?
can. Some do.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Accidental
ideally, you're
downshifts.
supposed to shift down slower, but if you're slowing down a lot, you can.
That's a lot of gears. And what, each gear is what? 15 miles per hour? So if you were in the 10th gear, you were going 150?
Well, if they were at the racetrack, they were gonna be going fast.
I guess, yeah, racing, that's a normal speed.
Hello, birdie.
My dad's car has like 6 gears, I think. Maybe 7. I don't know. He has a manual car that I refuse to drive because it hurts my leg. Too many joint issues, not enough working joints. Okay, yeah, not hitting a wall is more important. Let's not hit any walls. That's
Yeah, no, that's good.
dangerous.
It's good that you downshifted. And so,
Yeah. We
I mean,
love not
obviously,
running
like,
straight wall and dying.
obviously there are like better things to do, but
12 gears is a lot of gears. I
yeah,
don't know what an
fast
inline
then.
V5 is.
Gotta be fast
I'm
then,
playing. Gotta go fast, like Sonic Zoom.
Gotta go fast.
I forgot that we weren't in. Where have you been refilling your water from?
You
Oh,
go
there's a
down.
river. Right, yep. Couldn't use brakes. That's fair.
Yeah.
You were going very, very zoom.
Yeah, but I can't imagine your transmission would definitely not be happy with you then, because that's a big jump.
Transmission is what controls gears, question mark?
Partly, and so transmission does a lot of the running on the car, so it's not a fun thing to mess up, and when you mess it up, it's really expensive.
That's fair.
The
My
truck
partner
that
saying I'm gonna kill my brakes because I brake too fast.
yeah, you do.
I go zoom, and then
Ooh,
I can't go zoom. Connect to the gearbox, which controls the gears. Okay, so I was vaguely right. Yay!
and so
I want to get
I
a trackman hat. You what?
yeah, no, the truck that I drove, um, it would its transmission used to overheat really bad, which, believe it or not, is not a good thing.
Could never guess. Okay,
Hello,
why does
chickens.
Sam need a Joja Cola for a calzone?
That's an interesting calzone.
I'm scared to see what type of calzone she's making.
I don't know. I want a buffalo chicken calzone. That sounds really tasty right now.
I want a calzone from the calzone place near my partner's college.
Ooh, liquid
Liquid
coolant
cooling
works well.
car? Like a liquid
Hello.
cooling PC?
Kinda, yeah. That's a good way to
Fancy.
look at it.
What if I dip my PC in oil and have it submerged like a fish tank?
That would not be good. In fact, I would argue that would be very bad.
It's like those the TikToks where they have like their PC filled with the oil things, and so it's just like it's like a fish tank, and they put fake fish inside. You overheat.
Yeah, no,
I
oil
love
is not a
scaring
good coolant.
people. I love scaring people who have like knowledge about these things by just talking about cursed things because it makes everyone go crazy. And
I've
but it
I've
sounds
just
really cool.
I've just learned to like accept the fact that you say crazy things.
Because the fans won't. Yes, but if it's like cooled with the liquid, because I don't know like what. There's like a special type of oil or something, and if you have like the PC liquid cooled, and then you have it filled with oil, and then it like
It's
cools it.
not it's not an oil. That's a liquid coolant.
You know, but there's a different type of thing where it's like not. I don't know if it's an oil or something, but it's some form of liquid, and it's just water.
Yeah.
But, yeah, but there's a thingy where you fill the PC with something.
Water.
Oh,
It's not always pure
okay.
water because sometimes people put like colored dyes in it.
But like the entire PC case is just filled with liquid like an aquarium. Is that just water?
That would probably be water, and that's most likely just like a thin.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't know. I want it. It looks fancy. I want fancy PC with cool things, except that would probably be too difficult of upkeep and to move. But it sounds fancy.
I mean, I don't think that they're very difficult to move. I would more so be worried about the price.
Yeah. I keep seeing those like PC giveaways where they've got a fancy looking PC, and I try to get them and I can't. Thing that super big servers where you submerge them in pure water. Okay, that's cool.
I mean, you got to keep it cool somehow.
Mhm. Yay, you should.
If you
I'm sure
make
it's very fancy
if
and
you
has
make
all the glows.
that new Discord account,
I found
and
a
don't
leak.
get banned this time for ban evading.
I
Yay!
found a leak, and it was near the sink actually, because it was near the pond.
You know who likes leaks? Miku.
Who?
I'm thinking Miku, Miku, wee oo. I'm thinking Miku, Miku, wee oo. I'm thinking Miku, Miku, wee oo. I'm thinking Miku, Miku, wee.
Weird.
No, that's just autism.
Yeah, true. I want
Wrong
PC
call out of the
in like
day.
purple. Custom water loop sounds fancy. I just want purple. I like purple. Purple and
You
glowy.
like purple? No way.
Yeah, you could never have guessed. I know, it's such a surprise.
Crazy.
I don't know Miku enough to know anything about Miku. I know the burger. The burgers.
I'd be hesitant to say that all of the new Miku fans are gooners who know about Rabbit Hole. Because personally, I'm like an older Miku enjoyer, and so I didn't do like I listened to a good amount of the music forever ago, pre Rabbit Hole days. But I enjoy Rabbit Hole. I've cosplayed Rabbit Hole Miku before. I think
Do
that it's
you
fun
still
and
have potat?
huh?
Do you still have potat?
Potat?
Potato.
Potato? No, I do not have
We need
potato.
we need cauliflower, potato, kale, and carrot. I already have carrot growing, so we need kale, potato, and cauliflower. And then we need 5 gold star cauliflower.
Okay. Hello, baby's eeping on my bed.
Oh, you got the kitty. Oh, and then we
Yeah.
need a blue jazz and a tulip for the garden bundle. So we actually do need to grow those. Could
Hmm.
you get all those seeds and start growing them tomorrow so we can just get them in?
Which ones?
If you check the community center and go to pantry, it's the
Okay.
spring crops bundle. And then we also just need to get a bunch of cauliflower and say get like 1 tulip seed and 1 blue jazz seed.
Hmm.
I just have no money.
I have 780.
Perfect. Then that should be plenty. Get the other stuff first and then just spend the rest on cauliflower probably.
Got it.
Then you get to sell it all too. So you get all the money back and more.
Hmm. Snail. But yeah, no, I don't care if people only really know like one song and they enjoy it because like if they enjoy it, then they enjoy it. I've given up on trying to gatekeep and whatnot because I don't think that it's worth it. The only things that like I will like adamantly gatekeep are like one are like when people like claim to like Astarion but then like ascend him, or when they sympathize with Cazador. Definitely not directed towards anyone.
I want snail. I want hermit crab actually, but that's another thing. I have no money for hermit crab.
I know a lot about fish. I hyperfixated on fish for a really long time. I
I
think we
want
might have a rooster.
I do not know. I have my volume turned down because I couldn't get it to play through my headphones.
We both like both of these ones are hens, but I think we have a hidden rooster somewhere.
It's on the it's in hiding. How else do you think the eggs are able to hatch?
Fair enough. I got 2 gold star eggs.
Ooh, are they big yet?
No, they're normal size eggs.
Let me see what fish we need. Oh, it's the normal fish.
You have an axolotl? Rabbit snails!
I love axolotls. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, of
I
course.
love axolotls.
And shrimps are also a lot of fun.
Mantis shrimp are so cute. They can punch.
I love when they punch. I think it's so silly.
It is.
Like, what do you think you're doing?
I get to take care of my friend's fish next week. And their goats. I get to give goats injections. I get to stick a needle into a goat.
Oh, is it the month?
What?
Think about their name.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I get to stick the needle into the goat, and I get to take care of the fish and the gecko and the cats, and hope the one cat doesn't eat my ankles.
I wanna pet the gecko.
You are far, or I'd say you can.
Hello, baby! Oh, baby needs water. Excuse me, Squash.
Oh, really?
Don't worry, Squash. I got you water.
Well, then I get to deal with the menaces that are ducks. Had to move shrimp out of my room last week because they would punch the glass. That's so valid, though. Up until last week, I had.
Silly.
Yes, I love that. I had 8 baby chickens in my room up
I
until
can't
like
buy them today.
last week. You can't?
I can't buy this.
It's Wednesday.
Today. Yeah.
It's Wednesday. Yep. Oh, the poor gecko.
I imagine he lived a good life, though. You seem like a reasonable pet owner.
I got pancakes out of the trash.
Oh.
That's not suspicious at all.
Hello, Birdie. Hello, Lynn. Clint.
That's so sad. The poor baby.
Hello, Adventurers Guild. Can I please have a better sword? Oh, it's open at 2 p.m.
That's a good
They have
gecko life.
hours.
My friend's gecko, I don't know how old she is, but her name is Zemme, and she's very friendly, and I love her. She had a child, just like kind of randomly spawned in a child, but the child died. She did the lizard things where the lizard just kind of randomly multiplied. Oh, that's so fair though. Hand feeding animals is a thing I am very familiar with. Not because necessarily broken legs, but just because I had a stubborn old man who refused to eat. He was a cat.
Oh, Stormy?
Yeah. By the end of it, I was hand feeding him cheese and McDonald's French fries.
You know, whatever he could eat.
Exactly. He was like 7 pounds. No, he was 5 pounds by the end of it all. When his organs gave out. He was gaining weight too. It was very sad. But yeah, he was being hand fed because I was not letting him die. Then he did. Then also chickens sometimes need to be hand fed, like yogurt and bread soaked in yogurt, because we've
Plus,
got a
it's
lot
just
of
fun to hand
blackbirds and
feed
they
them.
overheat. It is. I like hand feeding them. It gets them friendly. My old man was 15 and he had a thyroid issue, and so he um was battling with like his medication wasn't working anymore. He was very, very, very well taken care of up until his death. If he hadn't died when he did, he was on the uptrend, but if he'd gone any more downward, we were gonna put him down. You know, my cats are too. The two that are still alive, are very, very chunky. They're very fluffy though.
They're very chunky. I can confirm.
Tara only needs to lose like 1 or 2 more pounds. Moon needs to lose a lot more pounds, but they broke into the pantry the other day and ate like a quarter of bag of food.
That does not shock me in the slightest.
Yeah. They're on a diet though.
I might
Also,
go.
especially for older cats, it is so much better for them to be a little overweight than a little underweight because they are so prone to having a medical issue that causes them to lose weight really quickly if they have that little extra buffer room. Well, when they're younger, they're at more risk of developing diabetes. When they're older, it's honestly better for them to have a little more weight.
My cats,
Mhm.
we like to joke that they're fat, but we joke that they're fat, but we joke about it because of the fact that they spend so much time eating and insisting that they need food.
Cats do be like that. They have not eaten in 1,000 years. As you should. Cats should be adopted. That's all three of, I guess, technically the one cat I had that wasn't adopted was because my uncle tried to purchase a cat from a breeder. That cat died. He ended up being overseas, so we acquired the cat, but then the cat died within 6 months from a genetic disease. And so I prefer adopting cats personally, and all three of mine that I've actually had for extended periods of time have been adopted.
Oh, that's awful.
How dare. I hate that. My Stormy was abandoned by his first owner, and the kittens, I think, were found in the wild or something. I'm not sure of their exact origins. Um,
Cherry bomb.
they're very much a bonded pair and very happy, except Moon keeps harassing Tara to play, and Tara's not having it.
That's an awful news. Carrot seeds.
Yay! I've got some carrots planted too.
Is this what I think it is?
What'd you find?
Yes. I found amethyst.
Ooh, you bribing my girlfriend.
It's not your girlfriend. Yeah, we're considering adopting a cat because we're roommates, and so we're considering adopting a cat this upcoming year.
Hopefully we're able to. It depends on basically if our school lets it. Yeah, me too. I like adopting older animals. The only reason all of my cats were adopted young is because they're not really my cats. They were my family's cats. And then like just like giving animals good lives. My animals are probably a little too well taken care of if I'm being like not in a bad way. Stormy by the end of it, he was very much being babied. And then the kittens are
Snakes.
also they have all the things. Oh, I love snakes. I want all the animals, but I know I couldn't take care of all the animals.
I love snakes. Snakes are great.
They are. They're so cute. They're little boop noodles. My house has a snake that we named Jeff who hangs out. Oh, I love that. the amount of chickens on Facebook Marketplace and like Craigslist and stuff is so sad, and I have debated just getting some of the chickens from off of there at some point because it's just there's so many, and I know they aren't being well taken care of where they are. I hate it. I really wish I could build the big chicken coop that I wanted to build.
Yeah.
I had such big plans, and they were all ruined because I have no money and someone won't fund it.
You got a rattlesnake. That's funky. That's cool.
Pythons and rattlesnakes are so cute. The New York Times, it should be illegal. Yes,
Deep
it's like
hanging should
declawing a cat.
absolutely be illegal.
The New York Times, the Strands prompt today was snakes. I think it was today. It was either today or yesterday. The cat is eaten.
That's understandable. Sorry, my social battery just like blew.
Yeah, me too.
And so I might be nearing the end of my limit for streaming for today.
Yeah, we could end it after this day. We can go to bed and save.
Yeah, I'm gonna plant my carrots.
As
As you
you
should.
should. I hate people who declaw cats.
Yeah, my parents try and argue for it because we had a cat that when I was a child was declawed.
There's
And he became a very sweet cat afterwards, but it's not safe and it's not good. Next stream, I'm trying to decide. I might stream tomorrow. It will really depend on how I feel because recently my chronic illness has been chronic illnessing. And it will also depend on what chores I have to do.
and we can figure out when we can play Stardew together again too.
Yeah. And so
Our
this will be
schedules
fun to
don't align
continue.
often. Yeah, definitely. It'll be fun when we're in the same room because having to figure out mic echo will be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I should have an
Figure
actual
it out.
mic by then.
Yeah, but there'll still be echo, I'd assume.
Yeah, but it'll be a little better. Hopefully.
We'll figure it out.
I'm gonna collect chicken eggs really quick. Hello, jeez!
Well, it saves when we
printed
sleep.
out.
Oh, it saves when we sleep, so anything you do now will be lost.
Okay.
So we can end it here. Discord with crisp audio, good to know. Okay, is there emotes? I feel like there's emotes somewhere and I don't know where.
Is
That's
it
moving.
hold on a minute. I could have sworn that there is. Hold on a minute, let me check controls.
No, it's emojis.
Oh, it's Y.
Y, okay.
Yay!
Yay!
Alright. Thank you everybody for coming to stream. Let me find someone to raid really quick.
What's his stream name? Lux still streaming?
He should be, considering, okay, I was gonna say he better be, because I subbed, and so that means that he has to do another 2 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a subathon, so I know who I'm raiding.
Yup.
I am gonna send you all over to Luck. Be kind. Actually, no, feel free to bully him. Don't be too mean.
Only a little bullying. Gentle bullying, not aggressive bullying.
Yeah, yeah, have fun, spam my emotes because that's funny. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all again. And bye! Bye-bye. Oh,
Bye.
I forgot that it takes a second to start the raid.
Oh, yeah.
And so it looks like Luck is playing Fortnite. I don't know if they're any good, but they
Fun.
seem to be building pretty damn well.
Nice. I hate building on Fortnite.
I play without no build mode. Bye
Me too.
y'all. Bye y'all.